Welcome to Wealth Beyond the White Coat, a show where we dive deep into the world of financial freedom for dentists and medical professionals. I'm your host, Darren Flesher, a dentist with a passion for uncovering the strategies that lead to a prosperous life beyond the office. Every episode will explore the avenues of alternative investing, tax mitigation, and secrets to build wealth that the textbooks don't teach you. Whether you're looking to enhance your financial literacy, discover new investment opportunities, or simply find a better way to manage your money, this is the place where your financial health is the core of our conversations. Welcome to Wealth Beyond the White Coat, where your journey to financial clarity and freedom begins. Welcome to the final part of our special series with Totally Oral. In this episode, we wrap up our discussion on investment strategies and share some real-world examples of successful investments that can help you build a robust financial future.
No, the one thing I actually about my accountant, one thing actually about my accountant was she took. I work in Nate and Lean. One thing she took care of. My mom's accountant would always take forever. Like literally, they would always do what was it? My mom has like simpler taxes, or not very necessarily simpler taxes. After my dad passed, they've got pension income and stuff like that. But my mom does not want to do her taxes, and the accountant didn't charge enough. But somehow they would always do an extension. It always scared the hell out of my mom. I said, Mom, just go talk to my accountant. We charge a little bit more. And she said, but she's charging more. I said, but your taxes are done on time. It gets done in a day, which is all it should take for any simple tax. You charge more, and guess what? The service is done. That's what, to get your point. We are paying more, but guess what? They're done on time.
Yeah.
You to your point, right? You're paying for a level of service as well. It's either a volume game or it's a service game.
It's funny how your priority was to get it done on time. My priority is to never get it done on time. So it's funny how perspectives are a little bit different.
I should say for my mom, it was to get it done on time because my mom was always, you treat your mom different than you treat your own self. You know what I mean? Like you're like, Mom, Schafer is, I want to get this done on time. She's freaking out about it. I'm like, great, go see Deanna. Deanna will take care of you. Send on your phone. And then something happened with the IRS. Deanna will take care of you. Deanna call, you pay money to Deanna and just take care of it. Mom Schafer's got the money to take care of it. She's got oil money. Yeah. We're for oil as well.
I don't ever want to be done in April because I don't know if you know the statistics on that, but like almost all the audits are done on that first wave. Just from a statistic, not that I have anything that I hope to get audited or plan to get audited on, but statistically, if you wait till October, you're less likely to be audited.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Interesting. Things you never knew. You never knew. Interesting. That's where we're going to call this how to avoid an audit.
Yeah. That's not going to get flagged at all, is it?
Yeah.
We're all getting audited this year for sure.
We're all getting
right. Well, so I shouldn't feel bad that the last few years I've done an extension. Yeah, I still try to get things done by end of summer, but now I'll just keep on extension.
What was it? Sonny Pooja just, what was it? Had posted that one dentist got arrested for not paying taxes for 4 years in a row. How the hell do you expect not to pay taxes for 4 years in a row? You got to be pretty dumb not to pay tax for 2016 to 2020.
Yeah. One's going to notice.
At some point, they're going to be like, what's going on?
Even when you file an extension, you're still supposed to send in a check for what you think it might be and try to be close. Like you have to have done some work to at least give an estimate to send something in. So you can't just avoid it until October. So it's crazy.
You should at least overpay. Like we always at least will overpay. Just to be like, okay, we're at least fine.
Yeah.
So no, I love it. So you like your accountant right now because I'm guessing he or she is fairly aggressive within the law, obviously. Have you been through an audit yet yourself?
I've never been personally audited. I've participated in some investments that on the partnership level have been audited, and I've been made aware that they were being audited, but I've never had to turn over my personal taxes. So I've avoided that. So
yeah. I guess like when I get audited, I'm not going to worry about it because guess what? I'm not hiding anything. If I get audited, whatever, like worst case scenario, I might owe the government some more money, or maybe I won't. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just I remember hearing one tax lawyer say the only thing an audit really tells you is just as long as you're not lying about your income, everything's just an argument about what we owe. So
agreed. Yeah. In the same way, like these things I'm talking about and the things I do I try to be forthcoming and forthright and get the numbers right and all that. I'm not intentionally being wrong with the numbers. There's no dishonesty, but like you said, it could be an argument about a deduction here or there or the percentages or whatever. But I've never been audited, but I don't have any fear of it either. Like I don't think I'm doing anything to be out of bounds on anything.
Exactly. You're not like Scarface where you have like millions of dollars in the back of cocaine money. We assume so, at least.
I wish I did, to be honest. So
yeah, exactly.
Some put away.
And if you did, you could just have a drug stamp money, because there's a drug tax. You can just buy stamps for that.
there you go. I didn't know that. So
Oh yeah,
I'll keep that in mind for when I.
That's
Yeah.
when you start smuggling. If one of your investments ever becomes smuggling cocaine, there's a way to. The reason they do that is that because the reason they did that was to get drug dealers on more charges. If you didn't buy the stamps, then the IRS could go after more money for you and get
Gotta keep that in mind.
Sort of like that's like the question on your tax return about whatever it is. Did you steal anything? Or I can't remember how they word the question, but it's basically, did you do something you shouldn't have done that's illegal that you still need to pay taxes for? So it sounds like the same thing with the drug stamp.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like there actually was a federal case about it, like how the police could not watch you buy the drug stamps and follow you from that. There actually was a court, I think a Supreme Court case over that, saying they can't, because that'd be entrapment. Anyway.
Yeah, it feels like in the same line of thinking, it's people that go get clean needles and stuff. It's you're trying to let them do the right thing. We at least don't want you to die from doing this thing, but you're also doing something illegal with this thing. What's the trade-off here?
I want to do my heroin and pay taxes on my heroin. Okay, let me do both these things at the same time.
Yeah,
I'm trying
leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like something I found out when I was in Switzerland. I always thought it'd be really cool to have a Swiss bank account or a safety deposit box. So I was gonna go when I was in Zurich and just put like a squirt gun in it, and just so I could feel like Jason Bourne, and they give you that private room and everything. But when I looked into it, I guess so Switzerland's worked out that if you open up a Swiss bank account, they can still just give you a numbered account, but your name is still attached to it, and they have to alert the IRS.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I don't want to freaking get an audit or an alert for a freaking squirt gun that I put in the safety deposit box. So I'm like, you know what? Never mind. If this is the 1950s, it might be different. So if anybody's going to go offshore, I don't know about Cayman Islands, but like I'm going to get a numbered account, like you are asking for it. So don't create a red flag where you don't necessarily need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to the Bitcoin thing, like one of the benefits of it was anonymity in what you're doing, but we've seen that debunked too. There's almost nothing that you can do these days that somebody doesn't know about. Like there's nothing anonymous.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to interrupt real quick and say thanks for listening to the podcast. If you didn't know, we have an associated Facebook group also called Wealth Beyond the White Coat. Over there, you can ask your questions, get feedback from group members, and have a close community of medical professionals who are likely interested in the same things as you. Whether it's alternative investing, tax mitigation, ways to keep more of your money, or even protect your assets, we're going to discuss those things in the group. Additionally, we have a private investors club called Legacy Point. As a member, you'll get exclusive discounts to preferred vendors, and you'll get access to private investments that you'll find nowhere else. Whether it's hotels, apartments, oil and gas, equipment rental, you name it, we'll be discussing those details and offering those investments to members only inside Legacy Point Group. If you want to learn more about that, please contact me or simply email info, INFO, at legacypointgroup.com or go to the website legacypointgroup.com. And Wealth Beyond the White Coat podcast listeners get an exclusive discount if you use the code WealthBeyond. That's all caps, all together, WealthBeyond at checkout. I'd love to have you in the group, and I'd love to see you making more passive income as you move towards financial freedom, whether it's freedom to retire early, spend more time with your family, go on more vacations, or just do more of what you love while you're in the operatory. I'd love to see you doing that as part of Legacy Point. So here's to improving your financial health.
Yeah.
I guess unless you have, what's the state? There's one state where you can be anonymous. I think it's like Delaware. There's one state where you can hide behind shell companies.
Yeah, it's Delaware. And there's some court rulings, and it's being litigated about right now because of, in general, it's to protect the partners and stuff. And it's usually not nefarious, but obviously it could be for some dark reasons. So I think there's talks about should that be allowed and will it be allowed in the future?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. The world's a hilarious place where we're going from we shouldn't have Swiss bank accounts to Delaware being, we can do it here in Delaware.
Yeah.
So Darren, I want to hear more about your Facebook group because you're always posting really cool stuff. Actually, I think it's a nice counterpoint because it's Wealth Beyond the White Coat. That's a Facebook group, correct?
Yep. Yeah. That's the name of the podcast and the Facebook group.
I actually like the Facebook group a lot because it's a very nice counterpoint to Sunny's group. Sonny's group kind of is turning, and I love Sonny. He's been a podcast guest. He's a friend, but his group's kind of a bit of a dumpster fire sometimes. I'm saying that very
lots of Rolexes in there, right?
Lots of Rolexes, lots of Bitcoin talk, lots of just like anonymous questions and whatnot. But I got to say, you've done a very good job having a good little group. Every now and then a spammer gets through and it says, "Hey, come follow all my stock picks."
WhatsApp,
which is WhatsApp. But that is the weirdest scam.
Yeah,
that's all over the place right now on Facebook. Yeah, but
so Russell, is that why I get these random pictures from? I think it's from WhatsApp that'll get deposited on my phone. So I go through the photos and I'll show like maybe different stocks and different stock trends, and then a picture of a beach. I'm like, what the hell? Where is this from? But then I notice my WhatsApp app is open. Is that what that stuff's coming from?
I guess so. I don't quite know. WhatsApp is such an insecure app. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's.
I haven't been tricked into clicking anything yet, so I don't even know what you're talking about. Thankfully, but I'm sure that's part of it somehow.
Probably.
I'm sure your phone's hearing this right now, so you are going to get this tonight. You're welcome.
No doubt. Yeah, Zuckerberg's listening. Yeah, I'm getting something tonight for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But tell me about your. I know you actually started this group. You started this group with the idea of spreading knowledge. What other dentists are in the group, like that, or that you work with in the group, or is it just you by yourself that's doing this whole company, or is it other dentists that we might know? I'm curious.
From an administration standpoint, it's just me. I started last year with a partner, but we had differing views on how to proceed. We went our separate ways amicably, but now it's just me. And like you said, the whole point is just to be contrarian, but not in a negative way, like just offer alternate thought processes and optionality with what to do with money and how to think about money and how dentists might make and keep more of it. So that's really the whole point of all of it. Yeah.
Well, let's take this a little bit step further. Let's talk about someone's timeline. Let's say in an ideal world, how do you imagine a dentist? Let's say they graduate. Let's say they leave with what's a reasonable amount of debt right now from dental school? Let's say $350,000. I think that's probably a reasonable amount of dental school debt right now for a 2024 graduate. Would y'all agree with that? Just maybe
sure. When you enter the private schools and the state school, sure, probably about an average, I'd say.
What would you think would be a reasonable path for how a dentist should probably proceed forward with their, financial planning, just off the cuff of your mind, Darren?
Coming back to my comment that I don't know if I ever finished the thought, to be honest, on the marginal tax bracket thing. I think debt is the first thing you should tackle, especially with today's rates and stuff, like anything 7, 8, 9%, like whatever they are, crazy stuff. That should be first. I know there's things you can do with government repayment and pay it off in 10, 20, 30 years. Like I didn't believe in that personally. Like I took the note, I took the loan, I had the obligation, I paid mine off in 6 years, I think. So that was something I really attacked first. I didn't really live much differently than I lived like in dental school. I stayed in it was a $100,000 house back then. It's like a $200,000 house today. But I stayed in a starter home for many years. And then even my second home I bought wasn't the big home. It wasn't until 7 years into dental practice and 5 years into practice ownership where I feel like I was really making good money. I'd outrun all the deductions and still taking home a lot of money, that I went and bought the big house and started making bigger investments. And so coming back to my point about marginal tax brackets, like once you've run out of ways to write off money, whether it's through interest deductions or these business deductions or all the things you can do to like lower your reportable income, even if your cash flow in your bank feels good, if you're not having to tell the IRS you're making more than $385,000, none of this stuff really applies. Is really when you get to the 400 plus, where I feel like you should start thinking about doing something else with your money beyond traditional market stuff. And you maxed out your 401ks and all that in that first 385. And then to be honest, it's really not enough to just exceed 385, because a lot of these things that I do have a minimum investable amount of usually 100 grand. Some are 50, but most are 100. So really we're talking to somebody who's making 500 grand a year. That's really the target audience here who could really benefit from this. But it doesn't mean like understanding this stuff, knowledge for the sake of knowledge is not necessarily a bad thing. So like understanding terminology, different vendors, different sponsors, different asset classes. Like I think exposure to that stuff, what I said at the beginning, like knowing where the out of bounds is for you personally or for investable opportunities, or like whatever you think out of bounds is for you, like you need to know where that is so that you can stay in the lines you've chosen for yourself. So I think it's good for anybody to really learn about this stuff to decide if it's right for them.
I just wanted to take a minute to discuss financial independence. For many of us who own a practice, we spend several years growing it and we eventually plateau in both productivity and profitability. At that point, we've got several options in front of us. We can either continue to physically expand the practice, whether it's an expansion or a new building. We can acquire another practice. We can acquire new skill sets or extend our hours, or we can simply enjoy the plateau and the fruits of our labors and the profitability for years to come. If you do that, however, the profit year over year is roughly the same, and when you go to sell it in 10, 20, 30 years, it's worth the same thing as it is at the point where you got there. So for me, the decision was easy. The time value of money meant that if I sold it now for the same amount I could sell it in a couple decades, I could put that money to work for me and pursue other passions in life. Whether it's simply working less, doing more of what you love when you are working, taking more vacations, or monetizing that hobby, there is freedom in cashing in your chips early, taking that money off the table, letting it grow and compound over the course of your career, and focusing more on what you love to do. If this sounds like something of interest to you, I'd love to introduce you to the guy who made that possible for me. His name is JW. He's a dental practice broker, and he did several things that facilitated this for me. He found the right partner to honor the mission, vision, and values of my practice so that it could carry on the same way it has for the last near decade. He maximized the valuation of my practice and really went to bat for me to make sure we got the best deal possible, and he optimized the terms of the deal that aligned with what I was trying to achieve on my path to exit. Now, because we have a positive working relationship, anybody that I introduce to him, he's willing to do a free valuation to let you know where you stand so that you can make the best decision for yourself moving forward. If you think you might be interested in selling in the near future and you want to take advantage of this free valuation to see if the numbers make sense for you, simply email me at darren@legacypointgroup.com. That's DEREN@legacypointgroup.com, and I'll be happy to introduce you personally to my friend JW. Now back to the show.
Makes sense.
That's actually probably the best explanation I've ever had for that, because I like that $400,000 cutoff, because that makes the most sense of anything. Like you said, when you get over that marginal tax bracket, then you start looking for more deductions, honestly. Because if you're making $150,000 a year, why are you trying to go for something that's more, I hate to say exotic as if it's
exotic,
like weird, but
yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense then. But on the other hand, I think that it might make a lot of sense to do these things, especially because if you're trying, maybe you can only make this if you're making, let's say, $400,000 a year. You do this thing once every other year, let's say. Maybe you put away, you start saving money every other year, start doing something like this.
Right, exactly. Yeah, this doesn't have to be copy. It's not something you have to necessarily stack every year, especially with the $100,000 minimum. I talked about it a little while ago about trying to diversify you in their placement of what you do. You wouldn't want to keep dumping the same 100,000 into the same opportunity every year, or else you come over concentrated in what you're doing. So maybe you learn half a dozen things you're interested in, but you can only afford to do one of them this year, and you can do the next one next year. And so you can, over the course of maybe multiple years, get into the things you want to get into.
Yeah. No, I got to say, that's actually probably the most comprehensive way I've ever had to explain to me for how to invest in kind of more private markets like that. And it makes the most sense. It's a great way of, especially for, like I said, you and I talked before, I'm a boglehead. I'm a guy who loves index funds, but it makes the most sense, honestly. So yeah, you've sold me on it, honestly. I did not think I came in here as a very much of a skeptic. I'll tell you that before the podcast started, but I
understood. I expect that. And honestly, I
won't say I'm a believer, but I say I'm definitely more open-minded now to it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's really the barrier that I'm trying to break down with just giving the education away for free, because most people, not only is it hard to really understand because you've got a lot of this marketing towards Vanguard and Fidelity and Schwab, and that's where the big bucks are spent. So that's what people have in their head, is that's what an investment is. So I'm fighting that just from a concept standpoint. And then to even get somebody to be interested to hear it is like step one. It's like step 25 to think about actually putting money into it. So we have to start where we can start and get people the access to the knowledge. And then if they want to keep going down the road and get to step 25, let's do that. But I got to get my foot in the door and let people know what exists, because it's made tremendous change for me as far as my wealth trajectory, and a lot of my investable opportunities have gotten better and bigger over the years because I've just immersed myself in learning this stuff. And like I said, if I can shortcut people and get them closer to where I am versus where I started, I'm more than happy to do that.
It makes a lot of sense. No, I loved it. So Darren, we're nearing the end of our podcast right now. We usually ask a thing called Just the Tip. I think you've literally just given us just the tip. If people want to reach out and find out more about you, your podcast is called Beyond the White Coat. I guess people can find it. How many episodes people can find on the podcast app? How many episodes do you have out right now?
I think so. We're at the beginning of June. So tomorrow will be episode 9, I believe. And I release weekly. So you can literally go back to the beginning and listen to it all in a weekend pretty easily.
Fantastic.
Right on. I think I will.
And cool. Then I guess your episodes are pretty much a half an hour longer. So that's your goal pretty much? Or do you go
20 to 30 minutes?
Oh, that's a perfect style then. Awesome. I love it. And you pretty much, are you just focusing on just guests who do investments, or are you just focusing on the dentists, or who are you focusing on?
I will eventually have a couple guest dentists on who've been investing in these types of things outside of myself, just to have success stories and talk about now that they filed their tax returns and they've done this a year or two. Tell us, did this do what it said it could do? You dipped your toe in the water relatively with $100,000. What do you think about that? Are you going to do more of that? What do you think? So yeah, I will have some guests on. So far, it's just been not necessarily sponsors, but like people who vet the sponsors and stuff like that, where it's people who understand the ecosystem and can talk more about it. So yeah, it's a little bit of a variety, but it's all revolving around concepts and teachings and trying to get people knowledge and information to make sure they can ask their own questions when they're making these decisions.
Perfect. But we'll definitely link to your episode then. That sounds like a really awesome. Yeah. I love the under hour podcast. That's just easy, so easy to listen on the way to work. Perfect. Yeah. I wish you the best then for your podcast. That sounds fantastic, man.
Thanks. And I know, I was going to say, I'm going to cross post this, and I know we mostly talked about money and my stuff, but I know you do denture courses and stuff like that. If you want to tell people about that, but they might want to check you guys out, let them know about it.
Pretty much my stuff's on, I work with D'Angelo Webster. He does practice biopsy. Very much of a lean and mean guy. I know you do a breakaway style, but he's lean and mean, which is the other big philosophy, but also PPO driven. 3-step dentures is I would say my jam, but it's like, how do we make dentures cheaper, efficient? How do we make them more efficient? That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
And my stuff is denturece.com. Whereas Clinton, what's yours? Is it still teeth, or is that still your?
Hey, you can still find me at teeth.com. I don't know why, but boomdoomdental.com is another one. I go to blue. Actually, in all forwards now, it is bluedentalwellness.com. I don't have a course that I'm offering myself just yet, but when I figure something out and put it out there, I for sure will announce it here.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. And I actually, in my most recent podcast I listened to you was, sorry, say it again.
Do you have a website? That was the other question.
Yeah, so I own wealthbeyondthewhitecoat.com, but I'm currently not using it. My main kind of, if you want to learn about and be taught about this stuff on a more inside level, is actually legacypointgroup.com is where like kind of the insiders group to what we're doing.
Perfect. That's what I was going to say. Sorry, where's the last point? Yeah, I'll link to that in the show notes.
Oh, no. But I appreciate your denture CE. You and I talked a little bit offline beforehand, digital dentures and all that stuff. The last podcast I listened to was the one you did with Vu Lee, and very much into Sprint Ray and printing and all that. So I was nerding out, loving listening to that one.
Perfect. That means a lot to me. I'm glad some people like it. I could talk dentures all day long, and it's unfortunately a weakness of mine. I probably should talk more about investing. But hey, we all gotta have our hobbies, right? But Darren, man, it's been wonderful getting to know you, man. I really do appreciate you spending time with us. Thank you so very much. It means a lot to me, man. Yeah. So,
thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. It was great to get to know you, and I'm excited to check out your podcast.
Yeah.
So awesome. Let me know what you think.
We certainly will.
Will do.
For Clint Timmerman and Darren Flesher, I'm Russell Schafer. Peace out, y'all, and rock on.
Okay, that concludes our 3-part series on Totally Oral with Russell Schafer and Clint Timmerman. We covered everything from dental practice management and startup strategies to the world of private market investments. Our discussions included insights on diversifying income, protecting wealth, and making informed investment decisions. We hope you found the series informative and inspiring as you navigate your journey beyond the white coat. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening in to Wealth Beyond the White Coat. Your time and attention mean a lot to us. If you found value in today's episode, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform and share it with your colleagues and friends. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more professionals like you striving for financial freedom. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of your financial health. Thank you for joining us on this journey to wealth beyond the white coat.